And I noticed around 6 or 7 that when I would get up out of my recliner, that it didn't hurt. And that was significant because it hurt to get out of the recliner, it hurt to sit down, it hurt to walk, it hurt to stand. And I noticed around 6 or 7 o'clock that my hip was not hurting anymore.
Hey, David, thanks so much for coming to spend time with me today.
Thank you for letting me do this, Tracy.
Well, I love this is my favorite part of the job is being able to connect with members and hear their amazing stories. So, can you start off just by telling the listeners a little bit about how you were feeling prior to coming to QHS?
Well, I have had, prior to coming to QHS, I have had congestive heart failure, a flutter, and a fib, as well as 2 compressed discs in my low back, causing significant low back, right hip, and right leg pain. And the cardiac stuff goes back about 10 years. And I went for about 7 years with being a normal rhythm, and then lost my normal rhythm earlier 2024, and on June 8th ended up having a pacemaker implanted because my AV node completely shut off. Doing fine with the pacemaker, but then continued to have significant low back and right leg problems. I have been with QHS since April of 22. I knew Cynthia before QHS through the Carden Group. The very, very first device that I had was the belt. And I noticed literally within 10 minutes of putting the belt on, relief in the back. And then I got the small black device, the large black device, and 2 V6 white devices. And I never in 2 years felt anything from any of those devices at all. I wasn't worried about it just because I understand the science behind the frequency, but I never felt anything that was good or bad with regards to the pain reduction, change in blood pressure, or heart issues until 5 weeks ago. I think it was about 5 weeks ago, I got the V9, received it on Tuesday, November 12th, I think it was, plugged it in and charged it, and put it in the back waistband around L4, L5 at about 3 in the afternoon. Now, prior to that, the previous Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, I had really had some significant low back, right hip, and leg pain, such that I couldn't even go to the store. I'd use curbside checkup. It hurt to walk more than 10 steps. Well, in fact, it hurt to walk 2 steps, but I couldn't walk far enough even to go into the store. So for the past year, I've used curbside pickup. So when I got the V9 device, I plugged it in and put it on my waistband at L4, L5 around 3 in the afternoon. And I noticed around 6 or 7 that when I would get up out of my recliner, that it didn't hurt. And that was significant because it hurt to get out of the recliner, it hurt to sit down, it hurt to walk, it hurt to stand. And I noticed around 6 or 7 o'clock that my hip was not hurting anymore. And then by 8 and 9 o'clock, that the knee pain, the leg pain, and the hip pain was virtually gone. And so that's since the past 3 weeks, and it has continued to be 90% resolved ever since the first day I received the V9. So I'm very grateful for that. Now, I'm in the cardiovascular group, and I'll be on that call here shortly. I don't know that I've seen any change in blood pressure, anything on the cardio side. But if it's doing this much good for my back, I'm sure it's doing a lot of good for me elsewhere as well.
That is amazing. So we can see that the higher level of frequency, you're actually able to have some massive results.
That's correct. And I was surprised because having gone 2 years with two black devices and two white devices, using two V6s at a time for about 8 months and never felt anything, to put the V9 on and within 6 hours have 90% pain reduction, I'm delighted.
I bet. Have you gone to the grocery store and walked around and done your shopping?
I've done that 3 or 4 times the past 3 weeks. I'm being very careful not to overdo it because the past 2 years that I've had the back problems and hip problems, I've lost a lot of muscle strength. And so I'm going to have to build that back slowly. And so I'm trying to make sure that I don't screw up by overdoing it and causing another problem. But as long as I listen to my body and don't overdo it, the past 3 weeks have been absolutely wonderful.
Bravo. That's so awesome, David. So happy to hear that. So, what I'd really like to also know is the do-over. What are you looking forward to in your future when you have a 30-year-old body, no pain, nothing stopping you? What excites you about that?
Well, I loved it when I was 30 years old and I could go out and still run a 10K several times a week. But with weight issues and heart issues and low back and hip and leg issues, obviously I haven't run in a long time. And my real desire is that by the time I'm finished with the QARC is that I'll be back at that 30-year-old mark and be able to exercise and go hunting and stay very active.
Awesome. And running's overrated, David. Come on. I'm just teasing. I used to love running, but my knees won't let me run anymore. So I joke around about that.
Well, I would love to be able to go into the mountains hunting for elk or moose, but there's no way that I could have done that the last several years. So I'm looking forward to being pain-free and being able to do that again.
And as you know, we expect miracles with this device and everything else coming in the future. So you can
Yep,
expect miracles too.
good.
Awesome. What would you like to say in closing, my dear?
Well, I'd like to say thank you to Cynthia and Dr. Alfredo and Wade, yourself for your communications, which are excellent. Keep up the good work. Let's get the Q coins and the QR going, and then let's take it to the world.
Indeed. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, David. Will you come back and do a part 2 post QARC?
Sure.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you for spending time today and for sharing your amazing story. I look forward to seeing you on part 2.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for making this QHS project fly. This valorous admin team, thank you. The Key community welcomes you. Thank you for making your home QHS healthy and happy. Thank you for helping us place QH centers all around the world. Together, hand in hand, we make miracles happen. QuantumHealingSystems.org. Thank you.